Good evening and welcome to the Invictus Racing League PlayStation F3 League, brought to you in partnership with Nail Coat Hall and gridfinder.com. We are here for round number 5 tonight at the British Grand Prix, and it's fair to say this season has been an absolute stellar if you're looking for entertainment here in the Invictus Racing Leagues. The F3 has had 13 total safety cars this season in the space of just 4 rounds, and we've had many a mistake from drivers and very much different winners during the season. But we are here, Britain, the home of British motor racing at Silverstone. Originally the circuit built in 1948, and it was 3.664 miles long back then, and that was after it began as RAF Silverstone, obviously an airfield that was abandoned from the war, turned into a racetrack. The current layout we are racing on has been a feature since 2011. The only change between 2011 and now is the naming of the Hamilton Straight down that main straight through the start-finish line. This current layout is 3.660 miles long, that's 5.89 kilometres, so very much not too dissimilar in terms of length to the old original circuit. However, very much a completely different layout. The most wins around this circuit is Lewis Hamilton himself with 8, and Ferrari the most successful constructor with 16 wins at the British circuit. But the very first win came in 1948 from Luigi Villaresi in a Maserati back in 1948. It was an unofficial championship race back then. The very first official race win was recorded by Giuseppe Farina in his Alfa Romeo in 1950 when the F1 championship began. But technically the British Grand Prix has been held since 1926-1927. It was held at a circuit called Brooklands, and let's check my notes. Robert Senechal and Louis Wagner were the 2 drivers to win the very first British Grand Prix in 1926. So very much a very historic circuit, and obviously one of the originals of F1, and very much a loved circuit amongst all. Very fast, very technical at times with the speed, especially to that Maggots-Beckett section where it's just constant changing of direction. You've got to have a good car through there, but you don't want to really ruin the setup for the straights. In terms of lap record, it was set last year in 2020 by Max Verstappen at 1 minute 27.097 in the Red Bull. In terms of a F3, last time out we were at Canada for round number 4. We had 4 safety car periods, 2 virtual safety car periods. Again, mixed conditions in terms of changing from wet to dry tyres, but it was Wojtek who took the victory from Lewis and Nitrogash in 3rd. JSP did take the pole position but spun out of the lead during the race. Nitro had a spin off the start line. He didn't even make it to turn 1 for the start of the race, so he had a really big battle on his hands to get back onto that podium position. In terms of the championship then, well, it's Nitrogash who leads the way on 48 with Wojtek on 45. F1 Richard is on 32 with O'Stephen on 15, joint with Stan in the Williams, otherwise known as Offic Red. Soldier Stone has 14, joint with JSP. David has 12, joint with Lewis now, both of them taking second places during the season. Zelko Jabalic is on 10, joint with Sir Spud, with Tinus Optional on 8. Prebziboy is on 6, with Towel on 4, joint with Steel BL66 and Craig 8728 and Ben Roberts. Russman is on 1 point with Jolly Jollig on 0. In terms of the constructors. It is the McLaren pairing that lead the way on 62 with Ferrari on 60. Alpine have 36 with Red Bull on 24. Williams has 21 with Alfa Romeo on 17. Mercedes on 14, AlphaTauri 13, Aston Martin 8, and Haas have just the 4 points. You will also notice a change of driver in the McLaren camp. We have Mikey there in the McLaren. I'm going to call him Michael for the stream. He replaced JSP, as JSP and Ben Roberts have both moved up to the Formula 2 category of the Invictus Racing League structure. See the counter counting down. Some other news: potential that Wojtek is could be unable to race tonight. Still, BL also not racing tonight. I believe there's also one more. Just double check my notes that I got given. Craig also not racing, and nor is Towel in the Alfa Romeo. So a little bit light-footed, but I'm sure we're going to have a fantastic set of races here. Set of races? Race. We've got to go through qualifying first. So we're going to be starting 25 seconds on the clock before qualifying gets underway for the IRL PlayStation F3 League, sponsored by and in partnership with Nailcoats Hall and gridfinder.com, for round number 5 of the British Grand Prix. A jewel in its own right on the calendar. 18 minutes on the clock for qualifying. And the pit lane is open. So who's going to be the first to duck out of the pits? Let's have a look. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining and watching the British Grand Prix in the F3. Apparently it's a dry weather outlook, so for the first time, pretty much, we're not going to have these horrible interchangeable conditions for the F3 League. I think Australia was a dry race as well, but these guys had quite the experience of weather, shall we say. Let's get all our various bits up. We don't want the telemetry, we want the lap data and the track map. We got an Aston Martin that is of Jolly. I think that is Tina. No, who is that? That's actually it might be David or Russman. That might be an AlphaTauri. It is. It's Russman 88. As he just goes through Aintree and down the Wellington Straight. So here we got Stan, we got Jolly, Tinus, Lewis, Soldier Stone, Nitrogash, O'Steven, David, Richard, Sir Spud, Zelko Yablich, Michael, Russman, and Prebzy Boy. So let's go on board with Russman for a lap of the British circuit here ourselves. Then we're just going to go through Vale, through Club. So here we go, down to Abbey. This flat out right hand. Oh, he's lost the back end. He's gone round. Russman is round. find ourselves another person. Let's have a look for F1 Richard. No, it's not him. Is it Prebz? No, it must be yeah, it was Office Red. Okay, Lewis, here we go. So across the line, up to Abbey with Lewis in the Alfa Romeo. 7th gear for Lewis. Through the farm curve into Village. Hit the brakes just before the 50 board. Get down to 3rd, get it tucked in as we now go through the loop. Again, horrible little hairpin. Aintree is flat to the boards. Down the Wellington straight, we're going to have the first bite of DRS for the lap. Hit the brakes around the 50 board for Brooklands. A late apex. Don't run on the curbs too much. It'll push you out wide like Lewis did there. And that really doesn't help you line through Luffield. 2 various lines. Actually, that's invalidated Lewis's lap. So we've got Johnny... No, is that Tinas there? Yeah, so just coming out of Brooklands for Tinas optional. Through Woodcut we go. 2 lines through Luffield. You can go really tight all the way around, or you can square it up. Cops Corner. Maybe a slight lift just to make the front end bite, but generally flat in these cars in 8th. Here we go, Maggots, left, right, into Brooklands for the next left, and into Chapel. Down to 5th, using all the curb we can. That's invalidated his lap. Through Chapel Curve, onto the Hangar Straight. All the way down to Stowe Corner. Again, 6th gear, hit the brakes about 50. Get it tucked in, wait for the power, bring it back in as you go to the left, heading down towards the Vale Chicane. You bring it to the right, hit the brakes at 100, down to 3rd, clip the inside curb. Don't take too much of this curb through the second part, and you should be flat through Club to finish the lap here at Silverstone. And Soldier Stone has put in a 1:27.764 so far to be on provisional pole position. That's a great time actually from the Red Bull driver. There's Prebz. Prebz has finished his lap, although I think he's just had it taken away. And David comes through for a 1:28.4. There's Stephen in the number 43. He's heading into the Vale Chicane on his first lap. He's on a set of mediums though. Let's get that information up. So yeah, Soldier Stone, the only one apart from Spud who's gone on the softs at that set of time. Stephen goes 3rd quickest with a 1:29.1. It's a McLaren of Michael coming through for 2nd place so far, 1:28.3 on his softs. Here comes Jolly Jollig, crossed the line, puts himself in 7th with that lap. So Spud, he crosses the line. He doesn't go any quicker though. So Tinas Optionil coming back in the pits. He's invalidated his lap again. Not what he'll be looking for. Here comes Richard. He is coming into the pits. Zelko Yablic on an outlap, so he's late to the party in terms of getting out there on track. Russman coming through. No, that's David going in the pits. Russman just going through Woodcut down towards Cops Corner. You'd have flagged that, I believe, for Prebzy Boy. Yeah, as he just comes to the pits. Oh, Stephen. He's on a 2nd flyer with those mediums. Across the line, doesn't go any quicker. Russman in the AlphaTauri, the number 88 car. Through Stowe, yellow flag out. I think that's just for possibly Johnny just getting out of the way of people. Through Vale, through Club. Russman crosses the line. What can he do? He puts it nowhere, because that must have been an outlap. As I say that, he spins at Abbey again. His car not liking the Abbey corner. As Stan comes across the line to start his flying lap. Russman really in trouble through that Abbey curve there. Really struggling. Zelko, I'm guessing, will be coming in the pits. No, he's going to carry on here. He did have his lap invalidated. Yellow in sector 1. I think that's Russman and possibly now Aston Martin just going a bit slowly. Oh, Stephen, surely he must be coming in the pits this time around. No, he's going to stay for a third flying lap on those mediums. Maybe he senses something on those mediums that others don't. As Russman goes wide to allow an Aston Martin through. Across the line, doesn't go any quicker as Stephen, so he stays in 4th. Lots of people struggling to get lap times in though with the track limits. Very strict, the track limits. So Spud not on a good lap, so he's going to come into the pits. That looks like Williams of Stan coming to Vale Chicane. Really trying to push it through there. So he crosses the line. Puts himself in 4th there at the moment. Good stuff by the Williams driver. Got loads of people just probably starting their laps at the moment. Zelko Yablic though, he is going to be finishing a lap. Nitro, I don't think I've seen Nitro else. He's on an out lap now. Zelko puts himself 5th fastest with a 128.6. David has done a hell of a time on that set of mediums. There seems to be a chance that David could start this race on mediums. I think that's his teammate coming into the pits there. Oh, and yeah, so Stan has lost it through Cop's corner, and he's taken the wheel off on the inside corner of the corner. Let's have a look. On board. Oh, he's just been recovered by the game, but he's gone off there on that inside. Got another yellow flag, this time for Zelko. Looks like he's had a bit of a moment. So there's Nitrogash. He has gone purple, judging by that mini-map. Oh, he slowed right up, you know. Invalidated lap, that would be why. So not ideal that for Nitro. Lewis has gone second quickest with the 128.280. It's just oh, Prebzy Boy has retired. He's retired up here. Oh, and Zelko has a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Prebzy Boy. There is Prebz. Looks like maybe front wheels come off, but Zelko Yablic has been given a 5-place grid penalty for contact with Prebzy Boy in qualifying. So we're going to go on board Nitrogash, see what he can do this time around. So up to Abbey, taking as much curb as you dare. So now for Tauri ahead of us of David. Hit the brakes just before the 50, down to, he stays in 4th actually for Village, into the loop. Flicks between 2nd and 3rd on the entry to the loop, through Aintree. Should be flat yet. Down the Wellington, into Brooklands. Very late on the brakes, bringing it back in. That's a lovely line from the McLaren. Luffield, yeah, he opts to go slightly wide and try, although he hasn't got the front end to bite there. I'd say he's lost a touch of time through there. He's not got the front end to bite through the second part of the apex. Woodcut hangs it out wide. Through Cops, he was very close to the limits there of the track. but he's got away with it. He was just about in bounds, through Maggots, into Beckett's. The change of direction is incredible, through Chapel, and onto the hangar straight. He's got a purple sector too. He is going for it, is Nitrogash. His main rival of Wojtek, not here tonight. Internet issues. So mechanical failure for Wojtek effectively. Into the Vale chicane. All he's got to do is just get it through these final few turns without cutting any corner, going wide. Cross the line. Oh, 28.176. And Nitro puts himself second on the grid. You'd have to say he was looking better than that, but Soldier Stone, I don't know what setup he's running on his car, but there must be a hell of a setup in that last sector. Because he is 4/10 quicker than anyone right now. David's still in 5th on those mediums. Question is, where's Russman? Is he on a lap? He is on a lap. Through Woodcut he goes. He needs to get a time in here, does Russman. He does not want to be starting there in 13th, and he's abandoned this lap. Just tell the manner that the car is behaving. Oh, Stephen puts it second on the grid with a 27.9. Great effort of the Ferrari driver. He's trying to uphold his team tonight. And if he beats both McLarens, that's all he can really do. But Russman looks like he's going to set up for another lap. Meanwhile, David on a set of softs this time, so going against the idea of starting on mediums. Across the line, and he puts it second on the grid with a 27.8, so time's getting quicker. Who's this? That is Tina's option Neil coming around on his outlap. The Aston Martin begins what could be his final lap of the session. When it goes yellow at the top, it takes away the time. There's Richard on an outlap. And Stephen just not on a fast lap, which is why we're going to have those yellows out. There's Lewis. So 2 minutes 10 remaining. Russman through Club. What a camera angle that is. He puts himself 5th quickest with a 128.2. Sir Spud is on mediums right now, and he's going to stay that way because he has chosen to stay in the pits with a minute 40 left, which means there's not enough time for another. Oh, hello, there goes Russman. He's into the wall. That'll be the end of that one. David in the pits. Who else have we got out there? Soldier Stone. He hasn't gone any quicker, although he's just started a lap. And Tinas puts it in 3rd place with a 127.891, just 0.003 of a second behind David. But David on a lap at the moment. I think that's Nitrogash. He should make it round for another lap. Michael into the pits, as is Jolly Jolly in 13th. Zelko's on his out lap. That is F1 Richard coming to the line. He puts himself into 8th place. That's a good stuff from Richard on 128.3. Lewis the next to cross the line. No, he's coming into the pits. He invalidated his lap, and that is the end of the session for the Alfa Romeo. Nitrogash in a race to the line. He's got 25 seconds to make it to the line to start a lap, and Going to be close, but I think he's definitely going to have time to do it. He's going to have Zelko Jablic behind, who's going to be trying to do the same as him. We make it with Nitro quite comfortably. Zelko, though, it's going to be tight, but he's going to have about 5 seconds left in the session. Yes, he does. Good stuff. Tinus Optionil coming through. Vale and Club on his final attempt. Puts it second with a 27.766. Fantastic stuff from the Aston Martin. Pips David at the end there. David actually abandoning his last lap in the end. There is a dark blue dot. Just Sir Spud, who's apparently already finished, but he's on a set of softs. So he is on his way round. I'm assuming then maybe it's just taking control of his car because he's come out of the pits effectively too late. Richard in the pits. So we've just got Nitrogash and Zelko Jablic to come through. Nitro looking for another strong grid slot for the season. He's got a great chance to get some points over his championship rival Wojtek, because Wojtek not here. The McLaren driver just coming to the end of his lap. Sets it through the chicane of Vale. Runs it wide, that's invalidated the lap. That's a big shame for Nitro. Zelko not going any quicker either himself. So Zelko Jablic was starting 12th with Nitro in 5th. But it will be Soldier Stone who takes everyone and puts him behind him. It's about as simple as that. His first lap, good enough for pole position by just 2 thousandths of a second. He has pipped Tinus Optionil by. So your starting grid for the IRL PS F3 League in partnership with Nailcoats Hall and gridfinder.com. Row 1, Soldier Stone, Tinus Optionil. Row 2, David and O'Stephen. Row 3, Nitrogash and Russman. Row 4, Lewis and Richard. Row 5 is Sir Spud and Michael. Row 6 is Stan and Zelko Jablic. Row 7, Jolly Jollig and Prebzy Boy. But don't forget, Zelko Jablic has a 5-place grid penalty, so that will shove Jolly Jollig up to 12th and Prebzy Boy into 13th. Definitely got some Aston Martin fans in the watching the stream tonight. Welcome to everyone to this round 5 of the F3 League here at Invictus Racing League for the British Grand Prix, the home of British motorsport racing. The infamous building that we've come to know that sits next to the Hamilton Straight. All the drivers will now be preparing their strategies. I think Tinus Optionil here has a great chance of a great result. He's had a very unlucky season so far as Tinus, but he is most definitely within a shout of a good result here today if he can keep out of trouble with those around him. The Aston Martin team looking for good results now. They had a bit of a weak start, shall we say, in terms of points. So Soldier Stone will lead us away for the formation lap here at the British Grand Prix. It's set to be a dry race, only the second all dry race, or shall we say all one weather race. Predicted pit stop strategy, apparently according to AWS, it's the same for either tyre. If you're starting on, as Prebzy Boy has left the session, in fact, he's been disqualified for not moving off the grid, unless that's just going to put him. That's just going to put him on the grid, actually. So yeah, AWS graphics there telling us it's lap 10 to lap 13 to get these soft tyres off, and you can go either to the medium or the hard compound tyre. Speaking of tyres, What's everyone on? Obviously Sir Spud, they're in 9th. The big interesting fact there, I think, because he's on medium tyres starting in the top 10. Stan is on mediums, and Zelko Jablic also on medium tyres. So look for those to go probably to about lap 15, lap 16 before we see those guys pit in and go for the soft compound of tyre. For everyone else, it's just a basic, as soon as your tyres start crying, get in the pits and change them. So Soldier Stone will round Vale into club as he now lines up on the grid for his first pole position this year of the IRL PlayStation F3 League in partnership with Nail Coats Hall, gridfinder.com, and all the drivers. The nerves will be tingling, adrenaline pumping. 26 laps of the British Grand Prix to come. Who will get off the line the best? The Aston or the Red Bull? We are about to find out as the 5 red lights come on. We are racing at the British Grand Prix. It's Soldier Stone who leads us away, and he's got a good enough start to counteract Tina's start. Both of them getting great starts off the line. Are we going to be clean through Abbey? It looks like we will be. Yep, everyone's through as he head into Village for the first time, and the loop. Oh, we got a spinner. That's Richard in the Alpine. Lost it all on his own. We've got Russman trying to go around the outside. Oh, Lewis loses the back end through the loop as we head through Aintree for the first time. Oh, Stephen, Nitric Ash up into 4th. He's alongside David as we head into Brooklands, trying to go around the outside. Good racing with the pair. It's tight but room given, and it's going to be a good move here from Nitric Ash if we can keep it down the inside, but David fights back, uses the traction on the outside. He's going to keep the place in 4th. Great racing between the two. Very hard to do is keep the one car width gap. Zelko's had a mega start. He's up into 9th place from the back of the grid. But at the front, it's Soldier Stone who leads, and he's not gone away. He's only half a second ahead of Tina's Optionil. He should get a nice little slipstream down to Stowe. Obviously, no DRS for this or next lap. So all Tina's has to do is keep it there. But oh, Stephen, under pressure from David, who just launches one down the inside of Stowe's corner. So Stephen must have had a poor exit from Chapel. And David sends it through in the AlphaTauri to get on to the podium spots for now. As the cars come screaming down the Hamilton Straight for the first time. Just looking to see where the barrels are. There's Zelko Jablic. He's all over the back of Sir Spud. Both of these are medium compound tyres. Some interesting timing is going on there, but he's got Michael just behind him. Jolly Jollig hasn't had a bad start. He's up into 11th. Stan losing places left, right and centre. He's down to 13th for now. As Michael looks at the inside of Zelko on the exit of Luffield. Can't quite make a move stick though. As we head across the line, I'm hoping those timings will sort themselves out at some point during this race. Russell under pressure from the Alfa Romeo of Lewis here. To say that Nitric Ash once again, he's looking to make a move on someone. It's O'Stephen, same place as David, up into Stowe. Pretty simple move that. On board of Russman as we go through Vale, and Soldier Stone now 1 second ahead. Jolly Jollig has fallen down the field. He's now in 12th. He's been overtaken by Prebsboy as finally the... as Zelko now gets a 3-second time penalty already for track limits. Very early, only on 2 laps in. He's already got a 3-second penalty. That doesn't bode well for the Mercedes driver. This is where everything starts to calm down a little bit now. We've gone through the chaotic first 2 laps, but we now have DRS enabled. And this might help Tinas here. If he can stick within that 1-second range of Soldier Stone, the DRS will help him close up to the back of the Red Bull. But as he goes wide through Cop's Corner, he's got to be careful and do that too many times. But looking back, Lewis only... He's only 4/10 behind Russman as Stan goes past Jolly Jolig, and Michael has got through on Zelko Yablic. Zelko Yablic is out of the race. What's happened? Oh, to the inside. He's lost the rear of Zelko Yablic. He's gone to the inside of Stowe. That's a big accident, actually. That's a very quick accident. Are we going to see a safety car period, potentially? It's just a local yellow flag there. In real life, that would be pit lane closed, but we are cleared, so we are going to continue the green flag racing. I do know that the safety car has been reduced for this league temporarily. Michael now getting past, or say trying to get past, so Spud round the outside, through Luffield we go. Can he use the traction on the outside? No, he can't. And the Red Bull stays ahead. Or does he? No, Michael's still alongside. We're going to keep the cursor held over Tinas though, because he's getting close to Soldier Stone. Michael concedes position for now, and now he has Prebzy Boy behind. You have to think that move has to start being made, but Tinas, optional. He is now closing in DRS range. Goes to the inside. The Aston Martin takes the lead into Stowe. You have to say fairly easy move as Michael now goes past, and here comes Prebzy Boy on Sir Spud into Stowe. Sir Spud trying to go around the outside. Does he keep it? Yes, he does. He's going to have the inside for Vale. Prebz trying to go around the outside, and he's still there. You can see there because Sir Spud has had to give the room. Prebz does back out eventually though. Meanwhile, Lewis down the inside of Russman at Village will get that move done. The Alfa Romeo up into 6th, but now he's going to come under threat unless he's been smart enough to make the move after the DRS detection. No, he didn't quite do that, so that means that Russman gets DRS down the Wellington straight. Does have a little look to fill the mirrors. Meanwhile, Prebzy Boy does finally get past Sir Spud using the DRS down the Wellington. Richard still having to recover a little bit. Meanwhile, the other Aston Martin of Jolly Jolig is having a bit of a battle with Stan for 11th place. Not yet in the points, but one more retirement and this will be for points. Meanwhile, back at the front, this time it's Soldier Stone's turn with the DRS. Does he have what it's... No, he can't make the move though. The Aston Martin has the legs. As Lewis gets past the Ferrari, that Ferrari does not have the legs. Oh, that's a huge moment for the Alfa Romeo. No Stephen in. Russman in for an undercut pit stop. Unless he's thinking 2-stop. But Lewis, what a save. Save of the day so far. Got into all sorts out of Stowe Corner. On board with the Alfa Romeo driver. See the AWS graphic showing us that O. Stevens ahead of us. Should be easy enough move. DRS opens. And we're through into 5th place. So Steven's still looking to try and retaliate. Well, I say retaliate, just react and try and get that position back, but it's not quite working. Russman onto mediums. Still looking back from the Alfa Romeo of Lewis to O'Steven. Now looking back from the Aston Martin. You see Soldier Stone closing up, but that Aston Martin definitely has good straight line speed. And Tinas looking very comfortable now, leading this race with a half-second gap. So only Russman has pitted so far. Biggest mover, Prebsy Boy up 5 places. See Russman, he's down 7, but he has pitted, so that is not where he actually is. You see, he's a little bit more spread out. I mean, O'Steven is trying to get on back onto the back of Lewis, but he's got Michael behind for a bit of company. We haven't seen much of David so far. He's just been having a good solid race in third. He's they're pulling away a little bit from Nitro Gash. He's 3.9 behind these guys. It's been good stuff from the top 3 so far. On board with the Red Bull. CS closing. Lewis now has a 3-second time penalty for track infringements. We close up to Tinas, but that's a little bit deep from the Red Bull. Gets away with it, but yeah, that could have been a lot worse for Soldier Stone. In the toe of Tinas as we go down the Hamilton Straight through Abbey, through the farm curve and into Village. So Stephen now gets past. We have a yellow flag. And it looks like, yes, it is for Lewis, who has front wing damage. So he's been off. He's either been off or made contact with someone, but that is the front left of the wing. The end plate is gone. And that is a very long lap for Lewis to get back to the pits to change that front wing. Meanwhile, back on board with the Soldier Stone. Tinas now has a 3-second time penalty. He just had to keep it clean, but he hasn't. And this has really presented Soldier Stone with an opportunity. He doesn't even have to overtake Tinas optional at the moment. He just has to stay within 3 seconds of him, as long as he doesn't get penalties himself. Jolly past Lewis as predicted. And there goes the Red Bull with DRS and ERS past the Aston Martin. I'm trying to work out if that's a second penalty. It is a second penalty for Tinas optional. He's now got 6 seconds worth of penalties. Tinas, what are you doing? Oh, you just needed to keep it clean. Keep it on that black stuff, and he hasn't managed to do that. He's obviously taken too many infringements on the circuit, and it's going to cost him. Lewis in the pits for a change of front wing, some new boots. Michael on the back of O'Steven here. Through Brooklands into Luffield. He's going to look for a good exit, although I'd say O'Steven has a better line. Yes, he does. He just squared up Luffield that little bit, got the power down earlier. Going to keep an eye on, because David, who now has DRS, Soldier Stone now 1.5 up on these guys. And David into second place. He's bided his time well here. Meanwhile, Michael looks to the outside of Stowe for O'Stephen. Stephen actually comes in the pits in the end. So lap number 9 for O'Stephen this is. He'll be in the pits. Tina's staying with David here. But if he wants to keep that third place, he's going to have to make sure he doesn't get any more penalties and he can pull away from Nitrogash that little bit more. He's only 5.7, 5.8, 5.9, 6 seconds. There's the gap. He needs to keep that gap to Nitrogash as Prebziboy overtakes Michael through Brooklands. That's a great move. We call the tail end of it, but that looked like a fantastic move from Prebziboy. Down the inside at Brooklands. And the Williams up into 5th place. He's up 8 places so far. He came from 13th on the grid. He now resides in 5th place. Meanwhile, DRS trainage between Tinas and David, as Tinas now comes in the pits. He's had enough of those tyres, as has Soldier Stone. David goes out for one more. David obviously feels that his tyres are good enough to keep going. On to lap 11 of the Invictus Racing League PlayStation 3 F3 in partnership with Nailcoat Tour and gridfinder.com. Nitrogash in the pits. That means Michael has to stay out, so otherwise they'll double stack. Been lots of overtakes so far today for this Grand Prix from the F3 so far. We're nearly halfway through the race. And if you are enjoying this race and the stream here on the Invictus Racing League channel, do give the stream a thumbs up and a like, and don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell, because there are other leagues that go on during the week, not just the F3. More will be explained later. And why is there? That's Tinas Optional. He spun it at Aintree. What a... Well, actually, I suspect he spun it out of the loop and he's just finished up at Aintree, but the Aston Martin's day definitely hasn't gone well now. Once again, a small mistake from Tinas, and it's cost him big time. That means he's now behind Nitro, he's behind Russman, he's behind O'Stephen. So technically, he's only 5th on the road once everyone makes their pit stops. Mikey has got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So that's not going to help his cause. David obviously in the pits. Prebziboy. And Sir Spud staying out. Obviously Sir Spud staying out because he's on mediums. Prebziboy stretching this soft stint that he's got. Stan obviously continuing on. He's on mediums, so pointless him stopping right now. I'd expect them to be in around another 4 laps time. Does Tinas get Michael? He's going to be close, but Tinas does stay there in a net 5th position. I beg your pardon, is a net 6th position, because obviously David hadn't appeared and now he has appeared. He's now behind Soldier Stone by 3.5 seconds, but he will have slightly better tyres. Russman though, he's in currently 8th place. That is a net 4th. He's only a second behind Nitrogash in the McLaren. And Prebzy Boy now comes into the pits. As does Sir Stan. Okay, so the Williams electing to double stack. Soldier Stones puts in the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 30.2. You're watching Russman at the moment. Jolly into the pits now. These guys go through. And that looked like Prebzy Boy has come out in 6th place. So Tinas has lost even more positions than we first thought. He's now down into 8th place, which is a net 7th in theory, but if Prebzy Boy has come in, Sir Spud won't be far away. And Sir Spud actually gets a 3-second time penalty as we speak, as Michael's come back in the pits. I'm not so sure why he's come back in the pits. Maybe some damage to the front wing that we haven't seen. I hope he didn't do that just to take his penalty, because you don't have to serve it. You can get it added on at the end. But Russman only 6-7 tenths away from Nitro Garage, which is closing in because of the DRS into Stowe. David is gradually nicking time out of Soldier Stone as well. He's now less than 3 seconds behind the Red Bull. Puts in a 29.9 for the fastest lap in his Alpha Tauri. So this could get interesting near the end of the race, as David keeps nicking bits of time out of the Red Bull. But they are nearly 10 seconds ahead of Nitro Gash and Russman in what will be effectively a podium battle. Lewis just managed to get past Jolly down the hangar straight using some DRS. Go back to Russman though, because this is a bit of a closer battle. Jolly actually losing a lot of time through Vale. But Russman all over the back of that McLaren. He hasn't quite got a good exit though through Luffield, which is going to compromise his run against Nitro Gash through Cops, Maggots and Beckett. Flick it to 7th, down to 5th. Oh, and the car's pushed out wide, using a touch too much curb. There is Russman. That just allows Nitro Gash that little extra bit of breathing room. Tinas now on the back of the Frivo Stephen. Remember, he was running up in 1st and 2nd, and then he spun it through Village. Tinas actually says the fastest lap of the race at 29.8. As he sits behind the Ferrari, and we've also got to look at Prebzy Boy there, because he's less than half a second behind Russman. So if that starts to get interesting, we shall hop over there as well. In fact, it is getting interesting because Prebzy Boy looking to the inside, and he once again makes an overtake on the inside of Brooklands. Through Luffield he goes, and that's that. He's dispatched of Russman. Remember, Russman's been on those tyres since, well, very, very early on, shall we say, but he has to make a really early pit stop. So those tyres probably 10 laps old. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, he's 8 laps old, those tyres. Came in around lap 5, so maybe the tyres starting to maybe grain just a little bit, but then Sir Spud on his tyres for 14 laps so far. Although I suspect that should be more like 15 as he crosses the line. Oh. And I think... Yep, so Spud has lost the rear through Abby, and he's hit the wall, and just like Lewis, as Lewis picks up another 3 seconds worth of penalties, just like Lewis, who has crashed at Chapel. And he's also a puncture for good measure, so he now has to limp back to the pits. Front left puncture, damage to the wing. Big moment. Tries to get it all slowed down, and then you see the puncture there. Meanwhile, Tinas has actually got past O'Stephen. Whilst we were looking at that, yeah. So Spud has a long lap back because of his front wing. Lewis back in the pits for another front wing and a new set of tyres, and he actually sorry, I thought I was looking at something else. The Alfa Romeo team deciding enough is enough for the day, and retirement is the best place for the car. Preps the boy, looks at the outside of nitro gas, will look for a switch, won't get it through Stowe. Gonna look behind. See, there's Preps the boy, there's Russman. Tinas is there as well. So Spud into the pits now. This group of cars between Nitro, Preps the boy, Russman, Tinas, and O'Stephen. O'Stephen just under a second behind this little group. Preps the boy looking at a potential podium. As he continues to hound Nitrogash. Up to Maggots and Beckett's we go. What can the Williams do? He's 3/10, closing. Loses a little bit, has a little bit of a slide into Beckett's. And I think that just puts him just outside of striking range from the DRS. Tinas, however, is very much in striking range. Not quite able to do it though with the DRS train active. Does have a little look into Vale, but to no avail. Nothing will come of that move. Here on lap 18. You go on to lap 18 anyway for these drivers. David, as we were seeing earlier, keeps nicking time out of Soldier Stone. 2.2 the gap. That used to be 3.5 when they went to the pit stops. Boy, DRS open in this train. You see 5 cars in shot, 4 of them with the wings open, but no one able to yet make a move. Through Luffield, through Woodcote, up towards Copse. Will anyone make the mistake? There is Nitrogash leading the way in this train. He's 11.6 off David. David and Soldier Stone in a world of their own, and I think Tinas Optionil would have been up there had he not spun. As Jolly Jollig now joins in the 3-second time penalty for track infringements club. Tinas again close, but not quite close enough with the DRS train going on. And David not taking any time out of Soldier Stone that time around. So Spud gets another 3-second time penalty, and I have this funny feeling. Yes, he's off. He went off at Copse Corner as he allows Jolly Jollig through. I get the sense he's got no front wing. Yep, he definitely has no front wing. He's running a Formula Ford style front end on that car. Meanwhile, Tina's still behind Russman. 4/10 the gap, 5/10 between Nitro and Prebziboy. 2.1 the gap between Stone and David. Down to 12 drivers. 2 retirements so far, Zelko Jablic and Lewis. Zelko Jablic losing the back end through Stowe and ripping the front wheel off the car, and Lewis getting having to pit for a second time for a second front wing, and he had a puncture and the team decided to call it a day. Meanwhile, back with the action here on lap number 20 of the IRL PS F3 Leagues in partnership with Nailcoat Hall and gridfinder.com. It is Soldier Stone who's leading, followed by David by 1.7, so that gap is closing. So could we have a bit of a final battle on our hands for the win of this race? But we do have a fantastic four-way scrap for third on track. Although it's starting to split between two groups of two. Well, a group of two and a group of three, because Russman is losing time to Prebziboy and Nitro. So, 5/10 is the gap as Prebziboy tries to get on the back of that McLaren. He wants to be in range of that McLaren for the DRS down the Hangar Straight. He's got younger tyres. This time he's there. 4/10, that is bang in range. Can he get there though? He can't. Stan now picks up a 3-second penalty for track infringements. Tina's optional behind though. Tinas gets through into 5th place using the DRS down the Hangar Straight, and now he can try and start making inroads into Prebziboy and Nitro Cash. Tinas sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:29.820. Remember, he's got that six seconds worth of penalties over him, so he needs to get a move on with just 6 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, with Prebziboy, he's so close to getting that 3rd place off Nitro Gas, he just can't quite get there at the moment. He didn't have a good exit from Luffield this time, but he will still use a bit of ERS there, I think. Close up. Virtual safety car. That's for Sir Spud, who has crashed at Copse Corner. Looks like he's gone to the inside, same as he has done previously, but this time not got so lucky. And this has turned into a full safety car. Look out in the pits, we're about to get a load of soft runners. Oh no, David gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Remember, it's a 37-mile-an-hour speed limit rounds at Silverstone. Tinas picks up another 3 seconds. Surely he's going to dive in the pits. No, he stays out. Ooh. Russman does pit, and this is a free pit stop. For Russman, this is an absolute free pit stop for him. I can't believe he's going to another set of mediums. Yeah, he is. Surprising. I was expecting some softs, as now Stan picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So drivers getting caught out by the pit lane entry. So Jolly Jolly's going to come into the pits, as is Michael. So, lap 21. For the for the fifth race in a row, we have a safety car. This brings the total safety car number to 14 for the season. So we're watching Russman. There is Nitro behind the Aston Martin safety car. Remember, Soldier Stone are now on soft compound tyres, I would have thought. No, he's on mediums. This is surprising. I'm surprised, unless they don't have the sets of softs they need. Unless they use them all in qualifying, because at this point you'd have to think, oh, you want to be on soft tyres. Have the grip compared to the mediums. I know they wear quickly, but you're going to have very little laps. You've got little fuel on board as well. To go around for another lap of safety car. It's going to be a sprint to the end between Nitro Prebzeboy. Tinas really hasn't helped him because he's got a 6-second penalty. So unless he gets his skates on at the start, Stan now comes in the pits, probably to just serve his 5-second penalty. Not such a bad move. I think Tina's actually has more. Tina's actually got 9 seconds worth of penalties there. So Tina's really under pressure here to get his skates on at the start, still secure points in this race for the Aston Martin team. Currently Jolly Jolly, his teammate, in 9th, but he has a 3-second penalty, and he's going to have Michael behind him. Safety car comes through Cops, as they head up to Maggots and Beckett's. It looks like everyone should catch up to the safety car. Stan might be the only one who doesn't, but it's such a fast section that I'd be surprised if he doesn't at least get on the tail end of them as they come to a restart. And I'd say that's we're going to have one more lap of safety car. So we're going to have a 2-lap sprint here, folks, for the British Grand Prix victory between Nitrocash and Prebzeboy. Oh, okay. Prebzeboy has decided now's the time to go in for tyres. I'm somewhat confused because he's now going to be at the back of the pack. Oh, and Jolly Jolly now gets a 5-second penalty for collision with Michael. So I think Michael's going to the back of Jolly Jolly. So that penalty may get contested from Jolly. So Prebzeboy's come in, got some soft compound tyres. Why did he not do that when the safety car got called? Because he had a free pit stop, a bit like Russman. He had that free pit stop. And now he's just got himself a whole world of pain trying to get back through that pack. He's going to have 2 laps to get through the pack. I don't see him getting the win. He had a chance of the victory here. I think that's a little too late from Prebzeboy. At this point, I think you need to just stay out and bear with it. Because I think he'd have had second as a minimum here, because Tinas has his penalties. but that's what the Williams strategists have said, so he joins up to the back of the queue. Three stops for Michael and Stan in this race. Biggest movers so far are Nitro Gash and Jolly Jollig, both up 4 positions so far. Safety car is in this lap. So Nitro will now control the field. He's going to keep quite close here to the safety car. Oh, Soldier Stone is disconnected from the session, but it looks like he's going to have to get back in and quick because we are about to go green flag racing once again. Oh, Prebz Boy has hit the back of Stan. That's given him a 5-second penalty. As Nitro Gash gets underway again under the restart, he goes through just before club corner and it's gotten him a great little gap to Tina's Optionil. 0.8 of a second it is. Soldier Stone, you can tell by the fact that he's phased out. Ghosty, he is not in that car. So David up into 4th. He is the first person on fresh tyres. What can he do here? No DRS for the remainder of this race. Nitro's got away well though. Jolly Jollig 3-second time penalty for track infringements. I think this is where the softs would have paid out for David, but as it stands, he's currently 4th on the back of O'Steven. Boys, he's about 2 seconds away from the lead. And David now picks up a 3-second time penalty for track infringements. So he's not going to finish 4th. Prezi Boy passed Michael in the background, although Michael coming back at him. Can't quite get there though. Tina's Optionil. Only 5/10. He knows there's no point fighting Nitro Gash. He needs to get away. Because right now, if I have a look at the difference with the leaders, right now Tina's is finishing in 11th and will be the only person not to score a point in this race. That finishes it at least anyway. Though I don't know what happens to Soldier Stone disconnecting that late in the race. Last lap of the Grand Prix here at Silverstone. There's Stephen. He's now got 2 Alpha Tauris behind him. Oh, and David runs a little bit deep through Luffield. His teammate having a look down the inside. That is close between the Alpha Tauris. It's David who's going to prevail so far. We have a spinner. Oh, that is Michael who is retired. I think he spun it to the inside, out of Luffield into the wall. So now Tina's Optionil will get at least 1 point. David on the back of O'Steven, down the hanger straight. Obviously no DRS because you have to wait 2 laps after the safety car before DRS gets enabled. But once again, he's like the master of strategy with safety cars at the end of the race. Nitro Gash through the Vale chicane, through club. He wins the British Grand Prix. It's a fantastic stuff from the McLaren driver. O'Steven will come home 2nd, with Russman in 3rd. Soldier Stone Bot will come home in 4th. Richard in 5th. Tina's Optionil in 6th. And the remainder we shall see in a minute. Driver of the day, Prebzy Boy, according to the game. I would say it's Nitro Gash in my opinion. And there is the McLaren driver heading to the podium. So, Nitro Gash takes the victory. For Mo Stephen in second, Russman third, Soldier Stone in fourth, Richard in fifth, Tinus in sixth in the end, David in seventh, Stan in eighth, Jolly Jollig is in ninth, so he takes points away, and Prebsboy, the last of the finishers, in 10th. Michael classified as a lap down, so Spud, Lewis and Zelko Jablich all non-finishers in this race. So hopefully we'll get the podium finishers in with us shortly for the post-race podium interviews. This is Nitro Gash. Good evening, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate.
Another crazy race, and yet it wasn't raining.
No, yeah, what's going on here?
Stephen now joins us. Good evening, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Hopefully, Russman will be able to join us. But we shall crack on nonetheless whilst he joins us. So, we'll come to you first, Nitro. Congratulations, winning the British Grand Prix. It's fair to say you're becoming quite the person to deal with strategy at the end of a race with a safety car at the moment. Obviously you had the likes of David and Soldier Stone who pitted for new tyres. You decided better to stay out, and turns out it was the right call in the end.
Yeah, I was a bit here or there whether to do it or not, but then I looked at how many laps were left, and I thought it was going to take a couple of laps, 2 or 3 laps for the safety car to go in, so I should be able to hold position. But I got hit under the safety car as well. I got side pod damage, so I've never had that, so I didn't know what was going to happen with that at the end. But it was okay. It wasn't too bad.
Good evening, Russman. Hopefully you're all right. Back with Nitro. A lot of that race you were on your own, in almost like in no man's land. Was it just a case that the setup just didn't match the likes of David and Soldier Stone at the start, or was it just generally the pace at that time wasn't there, or what happened with that? Because normally you're constantly there within a couple of seconds within those up front.
Yeah, I think a couple of things. I got off the line really well, and I went corner to side by side with David for a few corners, and then I had to let him go, and he went. But those tyres, I had to do an extra lap on my qualifying run as well because I didn't validate it on the first one. So I don't know whether that was the difference or whether they were just, getting DRS off each other. But yeah, I couldn't. I was, like you said, I was in no man's land. I couldn't keep up with them. And then after I pitted, I just had Russman and the others behind me. That was like every lap was like less than a second. So yeah, a bit sweaty.
Well, coming to Stephen, second place. Congratulations. I think it's second, wasn't it? I'm not imagining things. Congratulations, mate. Obviously, is that your first podium for the season?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it was. How does that feel?
It feels great because I know that a few drivers have got better pace than me, so I thought about pitting whenever the safety car came out, but then I looked at the laps and I thought, I looked at my tyre wear as well, I thought there's not much difference between the softs and the mediums. I remember from previous games and stuff, whenever I've done the alternate strategy and went on the softs, I've never hardly caught up to anyone. But yeah, I'm happy enough with P2. Yeah, it's just a shame Nitro Gas couldn't get a penalty in the last lap or something. But yeah, good race from him, and I'm happy with the podium.
Yeah, so you were involved in quite an intense battle. Obviously, Nitro Gas referred to it in the middle of that race. I believe it was you, Tinus, Russman, Prebs was in there as well. I mean, obviously, fighting within that group is quite a good achievement. But it seemed down the hangar straight your car didn't quite have the legs like other cars did to try and defend from the DRS. Was your car set up a little bit more for the corners for this race, just to keep the stability?
Yeah, definitely, because I know that from time trial setups, I'm just all over the place, and I just lose the car on the corners and stuff. So I've gone for a more stable setup on the corners and stuff, and yeah, at the start I got a good start, and then from there it just went downhill, and I was in the middle of nowhere when I came out the pits. But I did sort of catch up to like the pack what Nitro Gas was leading, but I just knew I couldn't get past them, and I was happy with when the safety cars came out, like I said, because I was in no man's land really with P7, and really a boring race for me.
Well, congratulations for your second place. Russman, we'll come to you. Congratulations on third. Especially after that incredibly early pit stop. Was that planned, or was that because of any form of damage? Because it was a very early pit stop for the race.
Yeah, it wasn't damage necessarily. It was, well, I had a woeful qualifying session, and yeah, I think I started the race, my tyres were on 10%, and they felt dicey from the get-go. I was monitoring the tyre wear, obviously, and I was up to about 30% sort of worn on the front left, and the car felt awful. I was losing time to the front runners, so I felt I had no choice really but to pit. And I was hoping to still make it a one-stop, but just sort of manage the tyre wear on the mediums for the rest of the race. But to be quite honest, the safety car towards the end was a blessing, because it allowed me to pit for fresh tyres and go again.
Was there a reason for going mediums? Because I would have thought, obviously at the end of the race, being with a safety car, softs would have been the way to go. Is that just a case that you didn't have a set of new softs available to you?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah, all my softs were used. Again, woeful qualifying sessions, so yeah, it didn't stand me in good stead. It was a case of needs must really. I had to put on the medium, so I felt they would have served me better for the final sort of couple of laps than a warm pair of softs.
No, fair enough. I mean, to be fair, it was a great drive to come back from effectively almost race position threatening early pit stop, really, because had the safety car not come out, you may have had to pit again because of the potential of tyre wear and punctures, I would assume.
Yeah, absolutely. I was keeping a close eye on it, monitoring it, just praying I'd be able to nurse it home, but obviously, you know, there was every chance I would have had to have pitted again. So yeah, like I said, the safety car was an absolute blessing.
Well, congratulations on your third place. Nitro, we'll come back to you for a final comment, and you're probably bored of me saying it, but a fourth safety car that's helped you out this season. Now, obviously, the setting got reduced for this time, which has obviously brought less safety cars, but obviously one at a critical time. Once again, you went for the safety car restart. You went between Vale and Club. Now, some would say that's a little bit risky in case you clip the curb through Club and spin your wheels up. But I would assume you've done that purely because it was a bit of a unexpected place that you'd go, really, especially around that final corner.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, unexpected as well, and probably the first place where I could just, as soon as I got the power down and I was good, I'd just put the overtake on, and you know, it's the first real straight bit that I could go for. I didn't want to back everybody up either as well, because I know how, you know, it gets a bit dicey around there. So yeah, I was quite happy when I looked, and you know, there was a bit of a gap. So as I said, with the side pod damage, I didn't know what was going to happen, but it was all good.
Well, gentlemen, congratulations on your podiums. Obviously, we'll see you all next week for the Austrian Grand Prix, which is next Thursday. You are welcome to stay, but we will be ending the stream very shortly. But again, congratulations all, and thank you for joining me in the podium interviews. So, as I say, next week we go to Austria and the Red Bull Ring. Again, for the F3, it's next Wednesday at 8 o'clock for the qualifying session starts. As we know, Austria, very short circuit, very quick circuit, and always very close in terms of lap times and racing between the drivers. In terms of what's coming up on the Invictus Racing League channel this week, tomorrow the last day of the British Grand Prix with the PlayStation Realistic Performance League. That is again being streamed on the IRL channel. And once again, they are all back next week. Monday for the F1 on PlayStation, Tuesday for the F2, and I believe PC F1. Wednesday we're back for the F3, and then obviously Realistic Performance will go round Austria next Thursday. So a fantastic set of races ahead of us next week. So this league, though, we obviously like to thank Nailcoat Hall and Gridfinder.com, which this league is in partnership with, for the Invictus Racing League PlayStation F3. But from myself and the drivers, thank you all for watching round 5 of the IRL PlayStation F3 League in partnership with Nailcoat Hall and Gridfinder.com. Join us next week for Austria for more completely crazy action from the F3, because let's face it, it's never been a calm race this season. But until next week, thank you for watching.